everyone and welcome to Monster Hunter World Beta. This is of course Nergigante, who you're looking at right there. And in this video I'm going to show my first successful slaying of this Elder Dragon. But he's a bit of a beast. So if you see him do this attack, get out of the way. Because it's incredible. He's a really fun fight though. Like absolutely incredible. You go to so many different areas of the map and he just seems to own all of them. While I feel like his attacks work so well in all different circumstances, he is just a beast at close and at long range because he will fly towards you. But of course, you have many, many chances to do some pretty hefty damage to him, such as, you know, mounting. Now, in the actual gameplay I'm going to show you of the full actual slaying of this dude, where we actually win, I actually don't get to do any mounts. The mounting's all done by our greatsword guy. But I managed to get a pretty good mount in this clip and just go away there. I love how just past then you grapple back onto him and keep going. The animations are just so smooth in this game. And as you can see, giant prompts in the middle of the screen. But when it looks this good, you can't really complain. Not too much anyway. And of course, with a successful mount after a certain number of attacks, certain number of damage has been done, you can topple him, and all of you can lay into him and do some pretty good damage. But let's go in to the actual fight. So, you start, well, I always start at Zone 1, the camp there, that's in the southwest. I always start there, jump down here, and have a slide down, and then over in, I think it's Zone 4, you'll see this swamp area. And this is always where Nergigante spawns. And it's this very colourful swamp, actually. Usually when you say swamp, you think, like, green and dark. No, this is really nice. I like the slightly foggy hue to it. This game is stupidly good looking. But Nergigante is this Elder Dragon, so that means traps won't work, things like that. But he can be stunned by paralysis and other things. I saw him even get put to sleep once. And my biggest tip in this area is remember to dodge and don't try putting on your mantle when he's about to attack you like I just did right there. Now I'm using the Rocksteady mantle. My equipment is all spec for attack. I always play Monster Hunter games as just full-on attack and just try to evade as much as I can. Now, I'm not the greatest on this team. I don't think I played that well, even, in this recording. It's a shame that this is the one. I played way better in some of the ones where we failed, or like the time ran out, or people died too much. I don't think I even died once, which I think is the thing to really keep trying, is not dying. Like, evade as much as you can. You see our greatsword guy has mounted there, so it's I think that's the first of 3 mounts he does. He's pretty good at it. And as you can see, we can do some pretty good damage here. Now I'm keeping an eye on my awakening gauge around the weapon in the top left, because this is my first awakening file attack. It's pretty awesome. I love doing that. That's the triangle circle attack for anyone wondering. The switch axe is great in this game as well. I use the switch axe in 4 and Generations, and I used it a little bit in 3. I think 3 is where I fell in love with it really, but most of 3 I played with sword and shield because it was my first Monster Hunter. I should say try, shouldn't I? And here's another grab on attack. I love how that looks, but I didn't finish it there. Oh, maybe I did finish it there. It finished the animation, so I guess I did. I've got damage numbers on 2. Damage numbers are, you know, opinion if you like them or not. I suppose if you like damage numbers, it's really good. I think they're good to show that you're actually making a hit, because sometimes you're just wildly flailing and you're like, am I actually making a contact here? Especially on some of the slightly weirder enemies, especially, and the flying ones. I found that in previous games anyway. But I'm nowhere near an expert Monster Hunter player. Like I said, I've played the other ones, but not to like the extent a lot of other people have. I think this is the first one we're going to put in like 200, 300, 400 hours maybe. And the other ones were on Wii and then 3DS. So I was never playing them for really long sessions. They were, you know, fairly short in the actual playtime of each session. But this, I played for 6 hours yesterday, like non-stop, just trying to beat this guy. The thing is, the ramp up in difficulty I think is really interesting, because the first 3 enemies, the first 3 monsters, which were in the other betas, are actually fairly easy. You can solo them pretty easy, but then as soon as you jump to this guy, even soloing this guy isn't easy. I love that attack. The way that attack looks, even though it's so devastating, is so cool. I'm going to life powder here to help the team out. And I'm a big fan of the radial menu too. I think the radial menu's a pretty nice addition. I've heard that you can change the way you select on the radial menu to clicking in the stick, I think, or something. And that sounds pretty appetizing to me because I was very confused by how the radial menu worked to begin with. And I also want to talk about the fluidity of the gameplay. Like playing this on the PS4 Pro, I chose frame rate as my preferred thing to focus on, priority of frame rate, and man, does this game look good. Like, I don't even mind that I'm not playing it in like 4K or whatever. It looks just incredible, especially with higher frame rates like this. So yeah, evade attacks, evade attacks, evade attacks. I will always say that to anyone who's a new Monster Hunter player, unless they're going to use something like, well, unless they're blocking. I suppose you can block. If that's your thing, you know, if you're using Charge Blade or Sword and Shield or Lance or whatever, you can block, and, you know, maybe that's your jam. I like dishing out damage and just evading out of the way. It's reminds me of Dark Souls Bloodborne in that way, where you just got to evade out of the way of the attacks, or you can evade into the attacks, but I think it's a little bit more narrow in the amount of frames you can do it. But look at this. We're just going crazy. I've got another attack where I've mounted him. It doesn't really actually count as a mount that. It's just like a finishing attack almost. Maybe I should whetstone. There we go. I was just thinking, am I going to whetstone? So whetstone is to do with sharpness. You can see the gauge is now fully green again. If that goes into yellow, it means you're doing less damage, and so on and so on. But, you know, you just got to remember to whetstone whenever he moves on. I think that's fine. This is one of my favorite areas to fight him, purely because it's not a super narrow corridor. It's not a wide open space. It's like somewhere in the middle, and there's a really cool jumping point to mount. Lots of really cool areas. And that stone pillar he just knocked down. One of the first times I was fighting him, I was like, oh, I'm just going to hide behind this stone pillar. He won't be able to see me. I'll just heal behind this. Boom! Stone pillar comes crashing down. He's in my face. I may have screamed just a tiny, tiny little bit. But yeah, I was playing this pretty much all of yesterday. I played it all this morning, a good chunk of this afternoon too. And I cannot wait for next Friday when the game comes out. I can't believe I waited this long to play the betas. That attack, by the way, where he can roar or stun you down and then do that forward claw swipe attack, is really, really brutal if you don't evade quickly, because he can just knock you down like this, turn and just hit you, and that's going to be it. Like, you're going to get ripped apart if you're not, like, rocking high defense or something. And that's another annoying thing. He roars and it stuns you, so I'm trying to heal up here. There we go. But we're doing pretty good damage to him here. Overall, because our team's all fairly offensive, we're doing, you know, a pretty good job. We've got a longsword guy, a greatsword guy, and it's a lance, right? Is that what they call those? I always think, whenever I see the guy with the lance and the shield, I always think gun lance. Oh, that's not a gun lance. But anyway, that's the tail gone, if you didn't notice. Part's broken on the side there. So that's his tail off, which you'd think means he would do less damage with his tail. No, he still kicks ass. And this is one of my favorite... Oh, no, okay, I'm going to do it again. This is one of my favorite clips. I clipped this bit right here, and put it as a GIF on Twitter. And it's amazing. Like, look at the way I land. I grab the sword, and that's just flawless animation. Like, what they did is just incredible. And you have 5 lives on this fight, by the way. I know you have 9 in some of the other things on the beta, but it's 5 in this one, and we have 3 continues left. Now, still lives, continues. Carting, you know, how many times you can cart. Why have I forgotten the name of what the lance is called? Is it just the lance? I think it is just called the lance, right? Let's have a look. Is it just lance? Yeah, lance. Long weapons, strike from distance, always accompanied with a large shield. I thought it was. But I've seen some great speedruns of this guy already, where people were using heavy bowgun with the cluster and just ripping him apart. The team actually decided to use a technique at the end of this fight, which is used as a setup for the cluster bomb speedrun. But I'll talk more about that towards the end. I would most definitely don't think I'd ever be able to speedrun Monster Hunter. Not only are the fights so much fun doing it like this, I'm terrible at speedruns in general. So, and look how fast he moves. It's terrifying. You're just healing and then boom, he's in your face. And that's a pretty interesting attack there as well. That's his ranged attack where he throws like spikes forward. That can be pretty brutal. Yeah. And now he is retreating. I tried to make a swing. Way off. Way off. Now, interestingly here, he isn't going to the upper area, the northeast corner, which is usually where he goes and fights. It's kind of this big desert crater area. It's right on the right of the screen now. He's actually going to this narrower corridor area, which is just past the, I think it's the central camp spawn. Between 6 and 7, he kind of roams around here. And this is an interesting place because you can climb up and try to mount him, do some good damage, good, you know, slash damage coming down on him. But he is so big and so mobile that this area kind of wrecks you, and you can get cornered and taken down so quickly here. So my thought process here is we all need to just try to do as much damage at once. Like, forget about everything. Let's just attack. And that's what happens when you do that. That was a big tail swipe from him, even though he only has half a tail left. Or maybe 2/3 of a tail left. Who knows? Healing up. And I just want to very briefly, while we're fighting this guy, talk about how incredible the environments in this game look. Like, not only do the monsters look great, but they did some great work on these environments. The sky, the colors, everything. I'm very, very impressed. Super excited to see what the full game has in store next week. I can use the Rocksteady Mantle again, which is always good when he is in your face like this. So equip that. I love that animation where you just swing it on. And pretty lucky there because he starts doing some pretty hefty damage as well. And off he goes because he's mounted. When you're mounted on him, he will try to get you off in any ways. He will literally run into walls, as in hurting himself, to try to fling you off from attacking him. So he'll do some pretty weird stuff, and he'll run at a fast speed to kind of avoid the rest of the team. Using my fire attack there to do a chunk of damage. And he is toppled. Man, the longsword animation there with that big slash is so cool. So I'm like, I'll follow that up with one of these. So badass. And now I'm just casually stuck behind him. Doing a bit of slash. I'm a big fan of in axe mode just constantly tapping circle, because you get this really cool. Oh, he flew up over the cliff and crashed up there. If you tap circle over and over again in axe mode when you're in with the switch axe, you kind of do this constant flailing attack. It uses your stamina, but it's really cool. There's something similar with a sword, but it ends in the flurry, while you can just keep going with it as in axe mode. And I often switch between sword and axe mode just to help generate that awakening attack mode. I'm kind of more of a fan of the sword mode of the switch axe, but I'm seeing the advantages of axe mode as well. The more I play, I mean, I remember just almost always using sword in previous games at times. Maybe that's why I also I secondary sometimes greatsword, because I quite like greatsword and longsword too. But I'm all about DPS. I love the DPS weapons. And here he is, crawling away to his nest. Not without a few hits from us though. But this isn't quite his nest. He's going to the central underground cave area. And there are flash bugs here. Do a little bit of that. I didn't want to finish it off because... Oh, there we go. Another awakening file attack. Didn't quite finish that one off though. Did take a chunk of damage though. Good thing I noticed. I was about to run in and attack, and then I looked at my health. Just use a max potion, my last max potion. Near the end of the fight at this point, you can see the timer in the top corner is running pretty low. I was worried that we were just going to run out of time. Damn. Well, now he is truly retreating off to his... Yeah. All the way down to his little hovel. His little camp where he goes naps. I mean, Nergigante is an intimidating dragon. You have to say cute baby words to make him less intimidating. So I throw the health booster there just in case this doesn't go well. They blow him up with the bomb barrel, explosive barrel, and he was so low in health already that was it. That's all it needed to topple him. To completely slay him. And of course, it would be, you know, ill of me not to at least carve up Nergigante, as you would do in Monster Hunter World when it comes out next week. What a great fight that was. I don't think I was fantastic in that. I thought I was subpar. But, you know, I was there as moral assistance. My gameplay wasn't great, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And, yeah, I wish some of my other ones where it was much better gameplay, I was mounting all the time, I was doing way more damage and such. I feel like some of those would have been way better if we had won. And of course, in the final game, we unlock the Champion Commendation Pack, which looks to include some pretty interesting things. And that is it! Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in Monster Hunter World next week. Goodbye!